this is Päivi and welcome to my studio in Finland. And this time I want to talk about my newest class, Inspirational Drawing 2.0, which starts in January. And I want to share some thoughts behind that class. I had Inspirational Drawing 1.0. I had run that for many times. I've got more experience after teaching classes online. So I wanted to revamp this old class, which has been really popular, to kind of have faster ways to get into the mood of and into the skill of drawing. But at the same time, I wanted to lengthen the duration of the class so that everybody has enough time to ponder and reflect what they have learned in the class. Inspirational Drawing 1.0 was about loosening up and finding your living line, and it still is the essential theme in Inspirational Drawing 2.0 too. But I've discovered new methods and fine-tuned the ways that you can learn. And also, when we have monthly, not weekly lessons, then there's time to move on to further areas of drawing. In January, we start with liberating the line and getting away from stiffness. That is a struggle for almost all the artists, really, to always find ways to persuade your pen to create lines that are more inspiring and more loose. And I think that one essential skill in that is to learn that you don't judge your drawing as it would be finished in every step. That when you draw, you realize that no, I just started drawing, it can't look anything like the end result. And you just try to bridge the gap between your intuition and intention. That's one thing that I want to deal in this class. And the first lesson, Mood to Motives, is especially focused on how you can focus on your living line and understand that when you combine your what you have drawn, they become bigger drawings and you can express all kind of stuff with that. In the second lesson, which is called Show What You Yearn, we will celebrate another core principle of inspirational drawing, which is using inspirational material so that you don't just copy it, but you get new ideas from it. So if you're a person who loves Pinterest, who have hundreds of boards, this is especially for you, how to use all those. And if you're a person who loves to take photos and walk into nature with your camera, and then when you come home and you see all those pretty images and you feel inspired to create from them, but then when you get the blank page, you feel that, oh, they all just disappear. This is especially for you, how you can use those images so that you can draw using them but not copying them, connecting more with the feeling that the images bring than just the literal stuff that is there. In March, in the third lesson, I've introduced a new area, and I thought this a lot because I know that many of you hate perspective drawing. And I have also had really bad experiences myself. At school, when I learned to become industrial designer, there was this perspective lessons, and oh my. If you think about stiffness and then you think about taking a ruler and trying to calculate all those angles and such, and when you get the end result and you realize that, oh no, it's 1 centimeter off where the line should have been, it's so discouraging. But during this summer, I studied Paul Cleese, an abstract artist from the middle of 20th century. His kind of view for perspective. And then I realized that perspective is not a serious stuff at all. That we can play with perspective. It was so fun to do all those pages. I swore that I include more perspective drawing and painting in my classes. So I wanted to bring it to this class too, and I hope you understand that this is not traditional perspective drawing. This is playing with perspectives, and I'm not asking you to use ruler or any kind of mathematics. I'm just teaching you how you can be more intuitive with perspective, play with perspective, and let go of pre-made images in your mind and just go with the flow and let the perspective show its magic. And then in April, another theme, but that's not probably not so unconventional, but I wanted to show how you can create portraits that have more liberation built in them. When you draw faces or when you draw people, how you can communicate about what kind of people are they, what kind of ideas they have in their head, what kind of values they have, and what kind of environment they live. So how can you pack all those things into one portrait image and not worry so much about getting every facial feature right, but to express what you want to say with the face. This is especially inspired by my lessons in learning old masters' techniques and how they painted portraits. While I painted my first oil painting, I realized when I painted in a so traditional way, I realized that there are shortcuts in the traditional painting too. So you didn't just try to make everything so sharp, but more blurry, and like a couple of lines, sharp lines in the eyes were enough to make the look sharp. And then you might not put anything sharp on the nose if the nose doesn't look very perfect, or if you don't want to communicate anything with the nose. The nose can be there but be a bit vague. I wanted to combine these insights with line drawing and how you can play with that in line drawing, and also bring the most important thing to express with your art, not just show a certain kind of smile or show a certain kind of look, but bring more into the portrait so that it will communicate more than just that there's a pretty face. Everybody of us who have drawn a bit have drawn portraits, and I also think that all of you who haven't drawn much yet are looking forward drawing portraits at some time. So I think this is perfect after learning a bit more about 3D, because faces are more 3D and you can pack so much more when you realize that 3D thing. And then the last lesson is summarizing what the 4 months have been, and it's called New Freedom: Expressing Change, Movement and Flow. This is a core thing if I think about myself as an artist, and where I want to support people to make art more dynamic, to make images that show transformations, movement, flow. When you bring movement to the images, they get less stiff, and it's also really inspiring if you think about them, that as a concept, that when you create art that shows transformation, that shows movement, then you let go of some fixated things inside you and you allow them to change. For this kind of 5-month program, it's essential to build in a kind of change in it. And I don't mean about changing your personality or something. On vice versa, getting closer, what's most essential in you, what new you can find from yourself. When we create an image that shows something inside us that is invisible and make that visible, it will be much more inspiring than trying to catch it in words. One example, I created this collage drawing to show how I see the imagination and the luxurious feeling of having a lot of imagination, how I see the world with all the treasures, not so much connected with money, but connected with imagination. Image can sometimes talk so much more. And also, what image is, how image is different, is that when you say something with words, you don't get so much different interpretations. So when you look at my image, you might see something different, and I think it's fascinating. And the skill of visual communication, how to communicate things and how to put them so that you feel connected with your work, and so that others feel connected with it too, so that you can tell your own story in a way that others can see their story in the image. I think that is the power of images, and that is something that I want to celebrate in this class especially. If you're already signed up, thanks so much, and I really look forward seeing your pieces. And if you haven't, there are few kind of artists that will benefit from this class, so I want to address all those. First, if you're an aspiring artist but you haven't drawn much and you haven't created much, I think this is a perfect class for you to start drawing, so that you start focusing on your line and you connect with your creativity, because everybody of us have been really creative as children. And I think that the essence of inspirational drawing is to connect with that creativity, with that kind of playing. And during the months you will fall in love with your living line, and you will find new shapes as tools to express yourself. If you're a person who loves to create, but who creates with stencils and paints and tries to avoid drawing because you think you can't draw, this is especially for you, because you will learn how you can do the same kind of quick stuff with pen, so that you will also connect with that. And also you learn how to use shapes more intentionally and how you can communicate with those shapes. Whether you use drawn shapes or stencils after the class, it doesn't matter, because you learn to express yourself visually, to bring more clarity to your expression. And then, if you are a person who have been drawing and painting very realistically, and then have got the idea of expanding to abstract art, to express more conceptual and invisible and idea stuff, then this class is excellent for you, because you can leave some of your skills a bit behind first, learn some new approaches, and then in the later months bring together your skills and put them all together. And it's always so exciting when you can add new tools and see a new direction in your artistic journey. If you always do very similar kind of images, this is also a really good possibility to let go some of the things you have created for so many times and learn something new, to create something new, and find a kind of new artist in you. It doesn't matter what skill level you start with the course, but I hope that you are interested in liberating your expression and loosening up. That's one of the core things, and also how you can get inspired and how you can express your inspiration. So welcome to Inspirational Drawing 2.0 in January.